Fast forward, you need come out channel so I'll say AGH Politics Avenue. Onya yambo ingro aye political highways nim eja dem a enye asem koto akra na ni nyina no say police ni a aye Afenyo Markins itimi ebo na sumo no wapa bonten epe atenten ni a onia enye asem koto akra na ono ankasa atunanu mutu ewo aye Black Rasta aye dwumadi a udi no ene so no mesra wo say yembo ingro aye inseminim ni yenhwe sene police ni no ECB element efa aye asem ya making ho I say AGH Politics Avenue ene yeda edi kanya wo share me wa ha bomodi so betima subscribe to the channel, leave your comment under the comment section ho mami na share na for front so answer into me enkabi mesra wo say yembo ingro aye dwumadi ni.
Watch this. Policeman Afenyo Markin slapped, still cries for justice. A policeman, Corporal Abel Forsen, was slapped. My brother, my sister, his branch is Tesano Police Station. Young, handsome policeman with a big future in front of him. There was going to be a petition presentation. And NPP members decided that they would go in their numbers to go and present that. Whilst marching to the Parliament House, they were singing and dancing. And most of the time, the police would be deployed to maintain peace and order. And we saw the video. They were marching in their numbers. It's the second biggest political party as it stands right now in Ghana. We saw the videos, didn't we? That's them. Marching all the way. Now their leader, the minority speaker, is the one who is wearing hats and dark glasses. He seems to be angry that the gate should be opened so that he and his clique can walk through. The police said, no, we can't allow all these people to walk through. Pick up a few people, then we allow you to present your petition. But for everybody to break through the barricade, no, it's not going to be wise, and security would be compromised. Then he got angry. We were told he tried to push his way through, and then he raised his hand, and boom, he slapped a policeman. Bam! We saw that. And we were told that he slapped again. Bam! My brother, my sister, they have investigated the case. The docket is ready. It's with the Attorney General. What is keeping the Attorney General from prosecuting this guy? Afenyo Markin. He's a minority leader in Parliament. This is the guy. He's a lawyer. He makes law for Ghanaians. So he should abide by the law. My brother, my sister, they have gone out there to investigate the issue. We are told the docket is ready. It's on the table of the Attorney General. Yet, it doesn't look like there's any interest in prosecuting this guy. If it was the other way around, the poor policeman would have been indicted. He would have even been languishing in prison right now because he slapped an untouchable politician. Are politicians more human than us? Are there different set of rules for politicians? My brother, my sister, we went all the way to the Tesano police station a couple of weeks ago. And we went straight to look for this young man. In fact, he was so disheveled. Whilst I was standing there waiting, I saw him coming. And then I approached him and I shook hands with him. You could see that he was not even in the mood to talk because he knows the consequences. But he told me, Black Rasta, before I can speak, we must go to my director. So we walked all the way into the office of the director, his boss. First, he saluted, bang, as police people always do, out of respect. And his boss told him to sit down. And they gave us the permission after they contacted so many different other offices to get the permission. And then we had the interview. My brother, my sister, we spoke with Corporal Abel Forsen. What did he tell us? Watch this.
Okay, so on that fateful day, Tesano Division was detailed at the Parliament House. Myself and my commanders were all there to make sure the demonstration was peaceful. So whilst the demonstrators were all there, we were also providing security for them. Before I could say Jack, I heard somebody slap me. Where's me on? Where's me on? So I just raised up my head and saw that it was the minority leader. So when I saw that it was him, I was just holding the barricade, and then he slapped me again. So quickly I turned to my commander, and then they all came, and then they restrained him. That was what happened.
Why did he slap you?
I don't know.
When he slapped you at the time, did you know that that was the minority leader?
I raised up my head and saw his face, and then noticed that it was the minority leader.
Did you say anything back?
When he slapped me, I was just there looking at him.
Where has the case reached right now?
When it happened, I lodged a complaint, took a medical form, and went to the hospital. And then the investigators also took up the case at the headquarters.
What have you been told after that?
I've not been told anything.
Has the minority leader come to meet with you, to plead with you, or talk to you?
No, I've not seen him since the incident happened.
What do you want to see done?
Justice.
What would you call justice? What exactly do you want?
He assaulted me, so justice should be done. I need justice. That's it.
Did you suffer any physical pain?
Yes, I was having some problem with my eye, and it continued for about 2 to 3 weeks before it stopped.
Do you believe that you will get justice?
I believe so. I believe so.
Do you believe you will get justice? I believe so. He slapped him 3 times, allegedly. Investigations done and dusted. The MP said that he was attacked too. And he even almost comatose. They had to throw water on him so that he would be able to be resuscitated. These are the people we voted into power. This is a guy who is the leader of some constituents in the constituency. This is a guy who sits in parliament and makes laws for us. I am so disappointed in what is going on so far. Politicians are not gods. If what we are hearing is nothing but the truth, it's idiots, my brother, must face justice. And if it is the other way around, the other sets of idiots must also face the law. Why is the Attorney General quiet on this issue? The Mahama government shouldn't sit on this. In fact, one police incident can cost so much. How many more young, able-bodied policemen are in there and they have seen that their colleague is not getting justice? Do you think that they will sacrifice for this government? Do you think that they will do everything in their power to police properly? No. They are like footballers. When they go and play and then they have sprains, wear steel, fractures, and they don't see anything done properly to treat them and heal them. Next time they are playing football, they play like models and not footballers. They won't go for the hard tackles. No. Mina minko bumi naina waina onshemi. We've seen this over and over. Please, we must all come together and ask for justice and demand justice for Corporal Abel Forsen. And I think that the IGP should be promoting this guy and the people who handle this matter so well. Because looking at Afenyo Markin and looking at Corporal Abel Forsen, if they were to be given the floor, as we say in Ghana, fight, Afenyo Markin would not last 2 minutes. He will become dead body and he will be buried in a shallow grave. But because of discipline, the discipline that the police is noted for, the young guy stood back, looked at his commander for instructions. Should I attack? Should I clamp down this guy? And commander said, easy. 3 times the guy said he slapped him. Even if this was your child, would you do that? And because it's just a mere policeman, a certain larger than life politician who recently turned a judge into a comic figure and said that he wanted to go to jail, that judge was not qualified to be where he was. Do you remember that? Please, let this be a nation of discipline. Let this be a nation of loyalty. Let every citizen have it inside their DNA that no matter what happens, they will get justice. Hey, if the goose gets justice and the gander doesn't, then we are living in George Orwell's Animal Farm. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. I'm so disappointed. Are they playing politics with this? Where is the nation going? If politicians can behave like this and go scot-free, then we don't have a nation. We only have an animal farm. To Afenyo Markin, if it is true that you assaulted this policeman, slapped him 3 times, as he said, and you are walking around and feeling that you are larger than life, shame on you. You have achieved nothing. You are a joke. It's the Black Pot, aka Štǒrm. And here we speak truth to power. When we return, we have hot exclusives for you. Hey ya, hey yo, kai, wait, wayo. Is in Fijai, and he was the only Malam in that school. Now, information reaching us has said that this Malam here called Malam Anas has defiled over 20 children right there inside that Makaranta or Arabic school. And his modus operandi would shock you. My brother, my sister, this is Malam Anas. Now, the news was first broken by the chairman and, of course, the patron of the Ghana Muslim Students Association. His name is Hajj Sheikh Jallo. Said Hamid Jallo, full name. He is a very prominent figure in Takrady when it comes to the Muslim communities. He's so much respected. He's a very wonderful person, and he moves from one Muslim community to the other, solving different problems. My brother, my sister, we first saw the post on his Facebook wall, and it shocked us. What was the post? Watch this. I was informed today about a madrasa malam who has been sexually abusing children, both boys and girls. He's currently on the run. Now, this issue has sent shivers down my spine. It is a stark reminder that madrasa leaders must rise to the occasion, remain vigilant, and take decisive action to protect children entrusted into their care. I will be meeting leaders of the madrasa tomorrow. Bi-iznillah. This issue mustn't be swept under the carpet. This was what he put up about 5 days ago. My brother, my sister, then he returned with an update. What did he say? He said, after my follow-up on the gay malam issue, it came out that he had defiled almost 20 kids, both boys and girls, Some of the audios in my possession are nauseating to listen to. Some of the children are suffering from the consequences of the penetration. He is still on the run. This is Sheikh Saeed Hamid Jallo Al-Hajj. He's somebody I know personally, right there in Takoradi. And so when this came out, I quickly had to get in contact with him. My brother, my sister. And when Sheikh Al-Hajj Saeed Hamid Jallo was speaking to me, tears were running down his eyes. We had to break the interview and return to him again when he gathered himself, and then we were able to speak. My brother, my sister, what did Sheikh tell us in this interview about the modus operandi of this man called Malam Anas, aka Efyekuma Malam Tonga? Watch this.
Okay, thank you very much, Black. Malam Anas is a young man who was employed to teach at one of the madrasas here in Takoradi. There is a suburb of Takoradi here known as Fijai. The chief of Fijai and the mosque management committee invited him to teach their children, and then he started. When he started teaching the children, he lives in Efyekuma, but the madrasa is in Fijai, about 10-minute drive. And when he was coming, every time he was coming, he would buy drinks, he would buy some snacks and beautiful goodies for his children. So the runners of the madrasa were so happy, and they believed that this man was doing very well for the children. But they didn't realize that something sinister was going on. It was later that one of the children complained to the parents that he's having problems, he's having pains in his underside or underpart, or let me say anus. And when they interrogated the child, it came out that the Malam who was supposed to be teaching him had been having sex with the guy or with the boy through the anus. So this issue came out, and then the parents of this child came and met the leadership of the community. And so they decided that they would talk to Malam Anas. And instead of at that time reporting to the police, they invited Malam Anas to a meeting on Friday. And I think he got the hint that something is going on, that maybe what he has been doing with the children has come out. So he absconded. But it happened that these parents were able to have a phone conversation between the child and Malam Anas. They called Malam Anas and made the child to speak to him without him knowing that the parents were recording everything. So it was in this particular recording or in this conversation that Anas himself was telling the boy that do not let your parents know that this is what had been going on between us. He told the boy that if you let them know I have been doing this with you, your Malam will be disgraced. Do you want your Malam to be disgraced? The child said no. He told the boy, I think you should recite Ayatul Kursi 7 times. The pains will go and everything will go away. But he never knew that at that time the parents were listening and they were recording. So this was the first evidence that was had. The second evidence was when Malam Anas called one of the parents who happens to be doing very well and supporting Malam Anas financially and in many ways. He told the father of this child that, please, I'm calling to seek your forgiveness. So the man asked him, what have you done wrong that I should forgive you? He said, what I have done against you, I cannot mention it, but I just need your forgiveness. The father said, how can I forgive you without knowing whatever you did? So tell me what you did. Then he said, it is very difficult for me to do. So eventually he never said anything. And this man I'm talking about has 2 children. Now there is another man who lives around where the mosque is. This man didn't even have his children at the madrasa. But Malam Anas was able to do these bad things with the 3 children of this man. All 3 children, he did it with them. So it happened that whenever they were at the madrasa, when it is time for closing, he will select 2 children or 1, and then he will tell them, wait after the madrasa, I want to talk to you. And meanwhile, these children are between the ages of 6 and 14. So he will tell them, wait, I will talk to you. So when these children close and go away, the 2 selected children will meet Malam Anas, and he will take them into an inner chamber of the mosque where the mats for prayers were kept. And then Malam Anas will do bad things with these children. One of the kids was heard saying that Malam Anas took us to the inner chamber and he told us to remove our pants, and he used his manhood to enter us. And if you hear the voice of that child, you know that child would not be more than 7 years old. And so he did this with them, not only the girls, but he did it with the boys too. So in the end, it happened that many of the parents took their children away from this madrasa, and they
we ain't sama hodo ko so channel so mama na what's so jembre da sane so ba din dia dum bi edomini onia ye besan Asia